Will Triple H last that long? And that's because he was in front of the press this past week, and they were asking him about his health. And I know you have I've seen the clip, and I know you have it there. And you and I talked about this right before we went on the air, that he's always fairly smooth, and it's not easy to rattle him. And he's always, he's the game, he's in charge, right? But when they asked him about his health, well, play part of the clip, and I'll tell you the impression I got.
Here's Triple H talking with, I'm not sure if it's the wrestling media or the media, but here we go.
How are you feeling, health-wise?
I appreciate you asking. I feel great. Glitch in the road. Luckily for me, it was caught, right? And it took a little bit to get over it, to get past it, but I'm past it. I'm over it. I got a clean bill of health. I'm 100%. I'm very aware of all of it. I'm very aware of really what's important in your life and your family and everything else. But I love this business, and for me, I approach it a little bit differently now. I realize there's actually this thing called sleep that every now and then you can get, and it's really helpful. Good advice for all of you, right? Like, don't be afraid of sleeping.
Let me stop there for a second.
Well, I was about to say stop there, because I was going to say, okay, past the Tony Khan like stammering, which is unusual. You needed to see his face on the clip. If anybody wants to look for it on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, and I believe he's talking to Ariel Helwani here.
Okay, well, you do, and you'll clean it up. But I guess Mama Cornette used to say, "Methinks thou doth protest too much." It was almost like, we're going to go on. We're going to go back to this, but he was affected mentally by this episode. I think you can tell in other comments he's made, where it's not like he's blowing it off or downplaying it or whatever. No, it's a big thing. And hey, love your family and hug your kids and, love life. But he got rattled by this. And I play the rest of it before we sum everything up.
But, I'm back. I'm 100%. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to tear through this and try to put on a big pair of shoes. But like I said, can't really feel, but we're all gonna do our best, and we're gonna make this thing just go to places it's never been before.
So, considering everything that you've been through, do you have a new sense of appreciation for the business? Like, you could have never imagined being in this spot. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you thought you would never be back, right? At some point. So, do you just view everything differently? Do you feel that? Do you sense that?
I have a new appreciation for life. It's precious. It doesn't last long. Embrace it. Get everything you can out of it, because it doesn't last long. And for everybody, it can be over in a second, right? So, embrace your family, embrace your friends, tell them you love them, be upfront with it. And, the things that you love to do in life, embrace that. Work hard, because it doesn't last long. My career, people ask me about my career. Am I sad that I'm done wrestling? No. I gave it everything I had. I wrote it till the wheels fell off. That's what you're supposed to do. And luckily for me, they told me, hey, you shouldn't do this anymore. Sweet, I'm done. I was wrapping it up anyways. To me, there didn't need to be the perfect out. It needed to be, I wrote it till the wheels fell off. I gave it everything I had, and here I am. Come out the other side. I have a passion for this business that has been the same since the first day I ever saw it. And, I can promise everybody out there, I'm going to do everything I have in my power to make this better than they've ever seen before.
Great. Boom. Nice upbeat ending to the 2 minutes of hug your children. I mean, they just, when he came out and started speaking publicly, just a few months ago again, and he announced, I'm never going to wrestle again. And weren't they also saying that he was going to gear back? And because of he's trying to tell people there he's 100% and he's over it and he's come through the other side. Wasn't it just a few months ago they were saying he still needs to take it easy? And they caught this problem, but he has a pacemaker or the defibrillator or whatever the case may be. And now all of a sudden, a few months after, it was like, well, I'm not going to wrestle anymore. That wouldn't be wise. And I'm taking things easy and I've stepped back. I'm back. Got a clean bill of health? No, you're back because the team is in need. We understand that. I don't think that no matter whether you want to do something or have a passion for it or whatever, after he had a near fatal cardiac incident, I don't think if he'd had his druthers, as they say, he would have jumped back into being head of creative and head of talent relations and the number 2 or 3 most powerful person in the company. Boom, except the team is in need. He's dropped weight, which is good. It shows he's taking care of himself more as a 50-plus-year-old guy than as a bodybuilding wrestler. But facially, he looks older. Maybe that's a result of the stress, whatever. But I don't think that he would have chosen to jump back in and work even as much or more full-time than he was before with the health issues he's had, unless it was that the team is in need. So he's trying to convince people now that he's back and he's 100%, but it sounded like an element of what I say sometimes on about guys' promos on the shows, where it was like he was trying to talk himself into it as much as tell the other people. What do you think, Brian? I don't know. Did I say that right?
Well, when I told you about the clip, I told you that I had seen feedback from various people on social media saying, oh, Triple H sounded great, or he's pumped up, or he's back, or he looks good. And I thought to myself, I must be seeing a different clip. I've never seen Triple H rattled like this. To use a bad pun, I've never seen Triple H off his game like this. I've never heard him stutter as much as this. And you brought up his face. He looked older. I mean, look, he's in his 50s now, but looked older, paler. I'm sure he's not tanning the same way, but he looked like a guy with a lot still on his shoulders, not like a guy who's getting enough sleep, who's going to tell everyone about the virtues of sleep. I hope for the best. I actually came out of this. If the goal was to make you feel bad for Triple H and root for him, I hope he does all right now. I feel bad for the crowd.
It's a more sympathetic portrayal of our friend Triple H. But yeah, that's the thing. And how he's saying, I've discovered sleep. And, he's going to be in 2 jobs where the person who holds either one of those jobs normally doesn't sleep that much. But now here's the thing. I wonder, without having to work directly under Vince, with Vince, alongside Vince, all of the people in creative, the office, everything, they're probably going to get more sleep just because they're not going to be pushed from 7 in the morning until 9 or 10 at night. And Triple H has an appreciation now, we know, for sleep, so he's not going to want to do that to other people. So maybe the biggest takeaway amongst the people at the real top, tippy top in the WWE is going to be, my God, now that Vince is gone, we can actually count on going to bed at the same time every night and the phone not ringing or whatever the case. That might be a plus.
Well, the other thing is with talent relations, a lot of it's going to depend on who's Triple H's staff. Remember, Canyon Ceman, am I remembering this right? Did he get fired? Was Triple H still there when he got fired, or was it after Triple H had been gone?
Boy, now that I'm not sure of.
But Triple H needs a good staff who could deal with a lot of the issues from wrestlers, whether it's in the middle of the night or whenever. Because otherwise, what are you running with talent relations? Is Triple H going to take those phone calls in the middle of the night from everybody? So who's going to be his staff?
Well, I think he's going to have to call back some of the people that he trusts and that he likes working with and that he knows can, pass on the knowledge and the wisdom and the instructions, whatever that he wants, like Vince did when he brought Laurinaitis and Bruce back. Now, Triple H is going to have to go find all the people of his that they fired and see if they've got jobs or if they're available to come back, or elsewise he's going to be catching. What did we say on that WWE roster? They had almost 200 before they fired a bunch. So let's say 150 phone calls from 150 different wrestlers going, oh, what the fuck's going on with me?
The other interesting thing is when you think about guys who we considered Triple H guys, primarily guys who were in NXT or came out of NXT, whether they were protected on the main roster or not, we all considered them Triple H guys. since Triple H, not only since he's been gone, but since even a little bit before then, when we started really wondering about how Vince is treating the AEW, WWE war, or whatever you want to call it. But Triple H saw a bunch of guys that he liked leave the company and sign 5-year contracts. That's a big change. The idea that they're now 5-year deals, that this guy who had been working with so many stars who he now has no access to, I say stars, so many wrestlers, he now has no access to for years.
Well, and that is part of the problem is we talked about on one of the shows recently, when different creative administrations take over in rapid succession, there's changes made, whether it was WCW 1989 or whether it was, any promotion where the booker leaves suddenly, takes some of his talent with him, other guys come in, whatever, and then it repeats a few different times because there's uncertainty. And that's happened more in recent years than it used to. Then not only is sometimes you devalue talent by this booker wants to use them, so they're the main event for 3 months, but then the next booker thinks they're the shit, so they do jobs, but that guy gets fired and somebody else comes in, and well, by that time, the guy's meaningless. This is even worse in that today with contracts and with Tony Khan signing 5-year deals for fucking people that you're going to get sick of seeing on TV in 5 months, probably. There's no hot free agent right now that could be signed anywhere for any company. They're talking about wanting to make a creative splash at SummerSlam. What are they going to do? You can't do a shocking, violent angle. People have seen heads cut off with chainsaws. You can't do any adult content with language or sex or whatever because of and I'm not saying you should even, but because the advertisers still, even if they go TV 14, it's not a creative splash unless there's something different, majorly different, involving somebody people want to see, maybe in a new environment. I'm just wondering what they're going to be able to do, like you said, with talent locked up that they can't bring back, that they lost through their own foolishness, combined with the fact that there's nobody else really out there that can make any difference just on their name or signing alone. And then you got a bunch of disgruntled guys that have had their names changed back and forth. Their gimmicks changed. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. So he's got his work cut out for him, does Triple H, but that's not going to be easy, quick, or restful, in my opinion.